Russian mafias, American covert sects, and European secret societies are all rife with hardened guys who have a history of living the gang lifestyle. Did you realize that several women have recently become prominent enough to be recognized as mafia bosses? During the 1980s, they were in charge of a third of Italy's mafia families. These typically belonged to the male-dominated upper echelons of criminal organizations and were distributed to surviving family members upon their apprehension. Who, in history, would you choose as the most brutal woman in organized crime? If you want to know, you'd better stick around. First place, Virginia Hill, 1916 to 1966. Virginia Hill, who grew up poor in Alabama, became well known as a gang member, courier, drug trafficker, and informant. Known as the Flamingo and the Queen of the Gangster Moles, she was the girlfriend of Brooklyn gangster Bugsy Siegel. She became famous and affluent while doing errands for several gangs and working as an accountant for Al Capone. Her financial situation changed after Siegel's death, rendering her less useful. She had to elude the cops due to her enormous debts and checkered past. Her past caught up with her, and in 1961, her body was found in a snowdrift in Austria, likely from an overdose of sleeping drugs. Spotlight on Number 2, Ma Barker, 1893 to 1935. J. Edgar Hoover labeled the state of Arizona as the most vicious, deadly, and resourceful criminal brain of the last decade. Donnie Barker was a notorious highway criminal, and she was a mother. She regularly worked alongside George, her husband, and her 4 boys, Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred. Since the Barkers were the ones who started the Barker-Karpis gang, their heists received a lot of attention in the media. In 1927, as the cops were about to arrest Herman, he took his own life rather than face arrest. Ma Barker and her husband's other 3 boys were all apprehended shortly after. Third place goes to Stephanie Street Claire, 1897 to 1969. Although Stephanie Street Claire's methods occasionally veered into cruelty, she was a steadfast defender of the Harlem community, an advocate of African American rights, and a witness against corrupt police. Queenie Street Claire, better known as Madam Street Claire, teamed up with mafia boss Lucky Luciano and his top enforcer, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, to keep rival gangs like Dutch Schultz's crew out of Harlem. She was a money lender, debt collector, and illegal numbers game operator. She was regularly in trouble with the law. Still, her indictment of several corrupt police officers brought shame to the New York Police Department. When Bumpy, later known as the Harlem Godfather, got successful in the numbers game, she decided to retire from the industry. Maria Licciardi, ranked 4th, 1951 till date. After her husband's death and her brother's incarceration, Maria Licciardi became head of the Licciardi family. Moreover, she helped establish the Secondigliano Alliance. She was a powerful leader in the Naples Camorra from 1993 until her capture in 2001. Local women refer to her as the princess, the godmother, and the little girl. Due to her small stature, her gang mates refer to her as the little girl and the little girl. Carabinieri re-arrested her at Rome's Ciampino airport on August 7, 2021, preventing her from boarding a flight to Spain after being freed in 2009 at the prosecutor's request in Naples. Sister Ping, the 5th, 1949 to 2014. In New York's Chinatown, Cheng Chu-ping oversaw a criminal group better known by his alias, the Snakehead, responsible for the illegal immigration of some 3,000 Chinese nationals. Many people lost their lives on the 100-day treks, which cost an incredible $40,000. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Sister Ping earned a $40 million fortune through her criminal endeavors. Despite her intimidating gangster business reputation, an immigrant in Chinatown praised her in a posthumous declaration as gentle, honest. Her warmth impacted everyone. Griselda Blanco, the 6th, 1943 to 2012. In the 1970s and 1980s, when her cocaine trafficking from Colombia to the United States was at its height, Griselda Blanco became the first criminal to become a billionaire. She was the head of the Medellin cartel. She went by several names: La Madrina, Black Widow, Cocaine Godmother, Queen of Narco Trafficking. She was also judged responsible for the death of a toddler. She had tortured and killed her first 3 spouses and found pleasure. To help her smugglers get Medellin cocaine from South Florida to New York, she created remarkable women's underwear. Blanco, 69, was shot dead by a motorcyclist in Medellin, Colombia while standing outside a butcher shop. At this point, the video will end. We trust that you found it both interesting and enlightening. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Don't worry. We'll see you again soon.